Welcome to the 3 for 3 podcast, everybody. And today we have a very special episode. Only two drafts that this 3 for 3 podcast actually care about, the NFL and the NBA. And guess what? The NBA is upon us, guys. And we are here. We love studying. We love going at it. This is one of those times of the year that we relish. We love the draft. Why? Because it's so full of promises, so full of hope. So many things can happen. So full of hope that you'll just trade the pick away and go get somebody better. Just a ton of different things that can happen. And we're here for all of the above. Am I right, Podfather?
Yeah, absolutely. It's NBA draft time. Let's do it.
Teach, can I go ahead and just put you as the resident guy who just knows more about every draft than every other human being in the civilization of Earth?
You know, it's when you have a lot of free time, and even if you don't have a lot of free time, and you just go, all right, maybe I'll just list like the top three guys. Maybe okay, and that turns into 25 players, and me texting you guys constantly 99 messages of, all right, this is what I have. Here's the comparison. By the way, check out our TikTok page or our YouTube page where we are going over all the redraftables. We are redrafting, every single day leading up to the draft. We're going over other draft picks, busts, great careers. So check that out.
Speaking of Teach's knowledge, which is undeniably awesome, let's talk about another undeniably awesome situation, the San Antonio Spurs. And who would have thunk that with that, Teach has the first pick in our NBA mock draft.
Way to take the easiest one.
It's not saying you're not, but I'm saying you're not taking any else but one person. So we'll just go ahead and get this one out the way.
Okay, are we doing trades?
No, we're not doing trades. We established this last night. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, but there's a million trades that can happen.
There definitely could, but we're here doing our thing, going to pick straight up because the unknown is harder than the known. And
can we say something like, I don't think they pick here, but
it's a free country, man. A lot of people died for you, that right? So you can do what you want, buddy.
I love that. Yeah.
So with the San Antonio Spurs first pick, obviously they're going Victor Wembanyama. Everybody knows they all but said it. They all but said it coming out. This is Windhorse actually asked him the question right after the lottery. Hey, how's it feel to be a Spur? I mean, they're not even trying to. RC Buford's not even trying to head fake. Again, Victor Wembanyama. I have him as a mix of Kareem and Kevin Durant. I think the things he's doing in France, his handles. I think I was probably really high on him first, and I think Coach has slowly come around. I think I'm dragging him into the Victor Wembanyama safety boat. So that it's an easy pick. It's Victor.
See, lengthy characters with promise. Let me tell you, he reminds, out of all the lengthy characters with promise that I believe that should be known, Victor Wembanyama and then another guy, Jack Skellington. He's the other lengthy person that should be known. He's got as much talent and charisma as him. So I'm putting him in the same boat as Jack Skellington, and that's pretty high on my list. Podfather.
You guys just messed up my whole draft. I had him as best available. I had him at 3, and you guys just messed up my whole draft. And that's it.
Podfather had him as, hey, this is a reach at 3.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and pick.
Sometimes you don't go for position. You go best available. He was one of those instances. Had him as best available. That's where I was going.
So I got the second pick in the draft, and I noticed one thing in our intro that Teach was wearing an Alabama shirt. It was football season when he was wearing it. We were in the playoffs. We were probably arguing about how Ohio State's better than Alabama. But I will tell you, this guy also came from Alabama, and probably one of the highest draft picks I can remember coming out of Alabama. Charlotte Hornets are taking Brandon Miller with the second pick in the draft.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. The kind of where I forecast him being is Paul George, Tracy McGrady, young Tracy McGrady. My only concern is this idea about him bringing a gun to a friend and that gun being used in the crime. So, Charlotte already has one knucklehead with Miles Bridges coming back, but Brandon Miller is, he's probably up there. He's definitely in top 3.
I had him kind of like Danny Granger, like old school Danny Granger. But what team can't use that at 2, right?
Those are great picks. Not even being funny. Those are awesome things. But we also know in the NBA that you really don't get punished for just showing guns on Instagram Live or nothing like that. It's just light things. So it's not a big deal that
Draft
stuff's
him.
happening. Yeah, they're whatever. It's okay. And Podfather, the resident Cowboy fan, not drafting for the Cowboys. I don't care if the guy's 6'5" and you think he'd be a good tight end for the Cowboys. You're not allowed to do that. So he has the Portland Trailblazers with 3rd pick. Pod, let us know what you want.
I don't think they draft here. Okay, I don't think they pick here. But for the purpose of this draft that we're doing right now, the Portland Trailblazers are taking Scoot Henderson.
Scoot,
Where they
scoot,
go,
Scoot.
he falls at 3, which probably won't happen in my eyesight. How can Derrick Rose Jr. fall to 3? Don't know that it happens, but that good job, Portland. Good pick.
Derek, go ahead, Teach. Go ahead.
Shot's a little sketchy, but I think his mechanics are there, and I think his free throw percentage show that he can evolve into a better shooter. I think he's a more physical Ja Morant, or a different version of Russ Westbrook. I love that.
Yeah.
There's one thing that's undeniable about Scoot. Homeboy is strong. He ain't strong. He's strong. Like he's got muscle. He's been in the gym. He's been doing his thing. It's a little egregious calling him Derrick Rose Jr. He did win an MVP, the youngest MVP in the history of the NBA. But that's a big comparison. That's about as big as we're going to hear probably today.
Wait a second. I think you're bearing the lead. I would like to hear Coach's critique of Scoot Henderson as Romeo Travis in Shooting Stars.
So listen, I really didn't mind that much. No, a lot of things. By the way, if you haven't checked out Shooting Stars, check it out. It's a little egregious. There's little things in it that's not factual at all. They play some different things, but check out the movie. It's a good movie. It's a good setup. It's good for the kids too. My kids loved it. And speaking of good movies, or maybe horror movies, brings us to the 4th pick in the Houston Rockets. And Teach has been blessed with a horrible organization, but a new owner that wants to make some moves, and a new coach, and all kinds of new, bright, shiny things. What are they going to do it for, Teach?
You can't trade here. You got to pick.
Listen, I could say you could have traded at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 11. We could go on and on and on. Everybody could trade. But that's not what we're doing here. What we got, Teach?
So it really came down to, where do I predict Houston gaining a free agent? And I think Fred VanVleet ends up in Houston. I think this is one of those, hey, he's going to be their point guard. I think Jalen Green is going to be there too. So let me give them a wing player. And I have the 4th best player on my board is Asar Thompson. His shot, we're going the other Thompson twin. Again, his shot is a lot better than advertised. I have him as a Jaylen Brown type player, which is ironic because the coach of Houston Rockets is Ime Udoka. He's going to be able to defend in the NBA right away. And he's shown that he can play make a lot more than he's been allowed to, playing next to his brother, Amen Thompson. So again, I have him as the wing from Overtime Elite, Asar Thompson, going forth to the Rockets.
That's a great pick. I don't see if they're going to pick, like you said, all these players could get traded. Every one of these teams, for one, they all suck. There's a reason why they're there. That's why there's trades that could happen. And if you're not getting Victor, everybody's up for trade. I mean, let's just call it like it is in this draft. But I think that's a very logical pick, well thought out. Expect nothing less from Teach because he's just him on that type of stuff. For me, I am now blessed with the 5th pick in the draft, and the biggest conundrum, though, I don't know what they're going to do with anything in life. Detroit Pistons. They are that close from being phenomenal and that close from getting the 1st pick. I just don't know how else to explain it. They're just one of them teams. And knowing that they're guard heavy, I went a little bit different. I like my Nova boys. And I'm taking Cam Whitmore, small forward out of Villanova, 6'6". He's up there. He's a big boy, 235, 6'6". He's a big, strong boy. He can be. He's very aggressive. He plays well. I think that'll translate well to what they got. I just like what he brings to the table and the different choices that they can use. Since the guard play is a lot taken up and big guys who knows what they're doing. Again, Detroit's a wild card. This seems like a good fit for him.
I had him as like a Justice Winslow type, but that's me.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think with the lack of tape on Justice Winslow at the next level, I had him as Miles Bridges without the baggage. So, like you said, the Villanova guys tend to come into the NBA and they act like a professional and they play. And I think that's what you want out of Detroit. So I love that pick. Podfather's actually been on Cam Whitmore probably since we started talking draft a couple weeks ago. So I love that. I had them going a different route, but okay, that's a good pick. You can't go wrong at 5.
I had Whitmore at 4, and then you came up with Ausar Thompson. So
I mean, honestly, I look at Nova guys like I look at Alabama guys. They're just really good draft picks, really good. Michigan State tends to produce really tough players in basketball, and Nova produces really smart, intelligent basketball players, in my opinion. So I was like, they just need some intelligence down there. That's why I think it'll be a good fit for him because he'll seem smarter than everybody else. Anyways, going with pick 6 and the wildly everybody is on their bandwagon. The Magic are gaining steam in the NBA. I don't know how you gain steam from the 6th pick because you're usually the first pick. So at the 6th pick, that's not what they usually are. They have a lot of ability, a lot of good players. Reigning Rookie of the Year, Paolo, out of the best college franchise in history, Duke University, Blue Devils. Where are they going to go? Podfather, can you lead them with their next pick to the promised land? What are you picking for them?
Amen. Amen. Yeah. Amen. I can do that. I can do that for you. No, here's what I think. I think Orlando right here at 6 is the best available pick because they're kind of full throughout the board. What I think they do is they pick best available and then they move something they don't like that they already have. And so I'm going to go the other Thompson, the Thompson brother, maybe the better of the two. Maybe they're identical. I don't know what they are. Okay, but what I do know is that Amen Thompson's going to Orlando in this draft at number 6.
I like that. Again, his comp for me, DeJounte Murray. So I think it's great. I do think you hit the nail on the head. They need a point guard, and Amen Thompson is a true point guard. Okay, he is. The shot is something's wrong with his shot. Something is wrong with his shot, but that's okay. They have Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz can go ahead and talk to him about a broken shot. That works. He is definitely athletic, and then he played a lot of point guard growing up, so he knows
I think this
how to
is
run
where
the position.
you get a chance to move off of one of those guys. You got the Cole Anthony, the Markelle Fultz. I mean, they're so heavy at that position. I had him more of like a Sean Livingston type. I love the Sean Livingston comp on him. Right? He can't shoot. Sean Livingston never shot a 3. How many threes do you think Sean Livingston made in his career?
He was an elbow assassin, though.
Yeah, that dude was crazy.
Wow.
Floaters.
Shout out Ringer NBA Draft. Make sure you check out that website. Okay, shout out.
Yeah, it's right here. Anyway, so that's where I'm gonna go. I'm in Thompson.
So that's a great pick. I love it. I think that it's an intelligent thing. I think that it's a chance for them to maybe hit a home run if they can hit it, fix a shot. It'll be a valuable asset, especially with Paulo doing his things down there. I think they're on the way up. Speaking of on their way up, it's like 6-7. They got like the similar type of path. I feel like Indiana is starting to turn it around. I really do. And I hope so because when Indiana's good, they're fun to watch. They're just the colors. I like seeing them playoffs. I miss Paul George being on the team. There's all kinds of things. And Teach, speaking of the one shot, the guy I would hand the ball to make this pick. Teach, I'm happy and proud that you get this pick. At the 7th pick, what does Teach take?
Halliburton's overrated.
You had to do it.
He knew I was going to say Halliburton, something else. I love Halliburton. I think, first of all, I think they don't use the pick. I think I don't think they make the pick. I think they go out and get like OG Anunoby. I think they're looking for wing help. They've already talked about it. I think Indiana is in win now mode. I think they want to keep Buddy Hield. I think they want to keep Miles Turner 1 year and let's see what we can do before we try to retool around Tyrese Halliburton. But since we're making the pick, I'm going to go with one of the probably biggest draft risers out of University of Central Florida. We're going to go Taylor Hendricks. Again, comparisons. Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant is probably, and Taylor Hendricks is very odd because he did play against weaker competition, but he dominated that weaker competition. I think he can play a couple different positions. It would not shock me if Taylor Hendricks was all defensive player on the all defensive team. It would not shock me if eventually he made third NBA, all NBA team. So I'm going to go Taylor Hendricks. The biggest question, like I said, was competition he played. So at 7, it's a good value pick.
Podfather, any ideas? Anything on that?
Good pick.
Yeah.
I don't think they use it. It's a good pick.
Once you get into the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, once you get in this part of the draft, you're hoping for somebody special.
I think
somebody good.
Somebody's falling who I had rated higher than probably everybody else. I'm really excited. I think I'm going to get him at 9 in Utah, and so good to go.
We'll see.
I think it's an SEC player.
Well, I will tell you personally is that I don't mind the Taylor Hendricks pick at all. I think it's a good pick. But on to other things. From 2 teams that are moving up to a team that seems to about to blow it up. And when you blow it up and you get the 8th pick in the draft, you are a sad, sad shape of affair. You are a horrible franchise if you have to blow it up at the 8th pick. Usually you blow it up when you're right outside the playoffs or near there. This team would pray to smell the playoffs. They can't even smell the play-in, and that's how bad they are. And with that, I think that at the 8th pick, think this team would be surprisingly pleased that Anthony Black is still on the table. And Anthony Black is the pick that I'm going to take because I truly believe that Beal's gone. They're getting rid of him. I believe that if they have the way they want it, and Beal can agree to the terms of the trade, then they'll get rid of him and they'll be drafting Anthony Black this time next week, or as you'll probably guys see it in a couple days. I love him out of Arkansas. I think he's a capable player. I think he provides a lot of different versatile things. They have so many holes that honestly they need to take best available, and this is probably the best available, in my opinion, on the draft.
I think you took Podfather's pick. I think you stole him right on your nose because we were talking draft again like last week, and you're like, man, I like what that kid does. I have him as Lonzo Ball. This was a kid who was a 4-sport star.
Yeah.
Both his parents were college athletes. This is a kid who was born overseas. So his footwork is amazing from playing soccer growing up. Came to America. His favorite sport was football. So in high school, here's a guy that scored, I believe it was 13 touchdowns in 12 games. His best sport was that. He was in Texas. So we're not talking about some guy in North Dakota playing 7-on-7. We're talking about big boy football. Texas was one of the only states that did not shut down for high school athletics during COVID. So he transitioned to basketball and started getting all these calls. Anthony Black is definitely a great pick.
Think about having a 6'7" wingspan at point guard as an NBA franchise. And not only does he have that big a wingspan where he's switchable on 1 through 4 probably, but he's also uber bouncy, uber athletic. You know what I mean? And so great pick. You took my pick, but I'm going to redeem. I got another one coming. Don't worry.
Well, before we get there, the only knock that I have for him is his shot. So I know he's coming from overseas. That they'll get some people in there. I think he can have the ability to improve. I think he's raw, and I think that he can get improved. I think this is a great pickup for them. Speaking of great pickups, Utah with their head coach and what they did last year, most improved player. Am I mistaken on that? No, I am not. They have a phenomenal 7-foot guy, big guy down low, Kessler, I believe it is. They are going some places. I believe they tanked the last quarter of the season on purpose. But they have a lot of different places, a lot of different pieces on there that they can move or do whatever. It's really exciting. And speaking of exciting, Podfather, this is your pick.
All right. So Anthony Black gone. At number 9, we're going to go with the third international guy here. We're going to go another guy from France. Okay? And we're going to go
He took my
pick. Yeah, David Giannis. Okay? That's where we're going to go at number 9. Put him beside him, 6'8", 7'2" wingspan. The kid, tremendous. Teach, you mentioned it earlier. Somebody just skyrocketing up the draft board. That's what he's doing. That's the pick in Utah.
Oh man, he took my pick. I had him all over for Dallas. I thought this is going to be great. He is. When we talk about risers after the combine, right? After the combine, you had all these high school, former high school and college one and dones. They were finished. They're staying at home. They're doing a couple private workouts. Well, Bilal and Victor Wembanyama were playing in the playoffs.
Yes.
Right, for the Metropolitan. So all these teams now have seen so much tape of Bilal Coulibaly. Again, he's a small forward, but he's a big guy. He's going to be able to defend at the next level. Again, a questionable shot, but he does all these little nitty gritty glue guy things that you want out of a winner. So that's a great pick, especially for Utah. Danny Ainge, I can see him doing that. Will Hardy, I can see them saying, forget it. Are we going to compete next year? Probably not. Let's go ahead and bring in a wild card. Maybe he could be our version of Giannis.
Yeah.
I love a foreign player going to a place like Utah. I think Denver is a good fit for Jokic. I think that sometimes if they go to LA, they go to
Dallas.
Miami, they go to New York, they go to Dallas. I don't know if Dallas is my idea for major metropolitan, but like if they can go to a Miami, there's a lot of stuff for these young kids coming from a different country to get lost in, and I think that Utah is a perfect place for this kid to go to learn, to grow.
I mean, Vlade did okay. Shaq did all right. Robert Parrish did good.
Shaq's Shaq's from America. What are you talking about, Robert?
Well,
anyways,
Louisiana.
All right.
Yeah, come on. It's foreign, bro.
It's foreign.
Crawfish down there.
Speaking of foreign players, okay, Dallas would have done perfect for that. I mean, Dirk, Steve Nash, Luka Doncic. I mean, Dallas. Yeah. But since you took my pick, picking 10th, I guess I gotta stay in Texas. And I'm not going to go with who I think you guys are going to go with because I think he's going to be a draft miss. Instead, let me go to another wild card. Again, I think this pick is probably traded. Dallas has put a billboard up. We're not going to go Walker. We are going to go Keontae George, shooting guard from Baylor. Again, the comp I have is Bradley Beal. He's a little shorter. He's 6'4", but he's a scorer and shot maker. There is not he attacks you at 3 different levels, and he can finish in different ways. So he can kill you from 3. His mid-range game is good, and he has this weird floater that was super competitive and super a complete shot at the college level. It was underutilized. I'm going Keontae George, shooting guard from Baylor. Give him to Dallas. Give Luka a toy to play with.
Love that. It's a good pick.
I love it. I really think he's it's a little bit of a reach.
Definitely a reach. But you could Teach will do that, right?
Yeah, he will. And if anybody's allowed to reach out there into the stars and pluck one, Teach can.
It'll come true. It'll happen, and it'll be great.
I just want to. Yep, you guys are absolutely right. I've been studying the draft, and I'm reaching on prospects.
So I'm gonna do something that's probably not honestly at this pick.
If you make a trade, I'm shutting the computer down.
No, with Walker being available, I'm not gonna take him. Why? Because this is an NBA draft, and not many times do I get to do things like this. And I'm gonna take somebody that you guys are not expecting.
Lane Mafata.
I want to say his name. I want the Orlando Magic to draft Kobe. Not Kobe Bryant because he's not alive. But there's a different Kobe out there. Not that I think he's going to be Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Buffkin, who sounds like the opposite of Bryant. Shooting guard, 6'4", out of Michigan. Michigan produces great players too. Again, I'm a firm believer in systems and programs and coaches when they're growing up. And I don't think he's the best available. I don't think this is the correct pick. But I get to say I drafted Kobe. And that's all I care about at this moment.
You did.
It's just as simple as that. I want to draft Kobe one day. I drafted Kobe. Simple as that. I'm going to put that down on my resume underneath the fact that I won a golden hat at McDonald's University. I also drafted Kobe in our mock draft.
This is a perfect transition. You drafted Kobe. At number 12.
Well, can I talk about Kobe a little bit? First of all, it's pronounced Kobe.
You talk
Right.
about Kobe.
It's Kobe.
It's not Kobe. It's Kobe. No, I'm just kidding.
Kobe.
But you had no idea.
Kobe beef.
His comparison is Gary Harris, this combo guard who everybody seems to lean toward. Hey, he was probably a better college player than an NBA player, and he's falling off draft boards. But at Orlando, it's a good pick because you have 6 and 11, so you can afford to take a miss right now and really go. If it works out completely, then it works out completely. You know, it's Trae Young was supposed to be a draft miss. Luka Doncic was supposed to be a draft miss. So you just never know. So that's
Trae Young was a draft miss.
Oh, okay. That's listen, everybody. For the record, Podfather. There's a phrase I have with Podfather. He is rarely right, but never uncertain. He is never uncertain.
Never.
He's sharp as a marble, and he keeps rolling.
That's what I do.
Roll on to OKC at 12,
Hey,
buddy.
We're rolling on to OKC.
You drafted Kobe, and I am so proud I get to draft Dick. Okay, so I am going to go
What?
Grady Dick at number 12. And this was a
Wow.
toss-up because there were a couple good players left, right? So
Just-
I'm thinking about floor spacing for Oklahoma City. I'm thinking about you already have Giddey. You already have SGA. They already have Chet coming back.
Jalen Williams, both of them.
Both of them, unless
couldn't
one
find-
ends up in LA.
You couldn't
Right,
find a
and-
Jalen Williams here to draft?
I looked, there was none on the board, right? And so it was either Jordan Hawkins at this pick, who also elite 3-point shooter, but I went with a little bit of size at the wing and an absolute floor spacer. Grady Dick, I think it's a great fit in Oklahoma City, and he can make a difference right out of the gate. That's 12.
I have him as he's a different version of Reggie Miller or a skinnier JJ Redick. He can absolutely shoot the lights out of the gym, but much like JJ Redick, he has trouble creating space. He does have trouble creating space, but I think he's going to thrive as a catch and shoot shooter. They're not just going to put him in the corner. They're going to have him going around screens. It's going to almost be Klay Thompson like.
And you have Giddey to get you the ball and SGA to draw defenders in. I love it.
Yeah,
I
think it's good. There's a couple players that we didn't mention. I just want to give a shout out to. Again, Cason Wallace. Cason Wallace is a point guard at Kentucky. I've talked about it with these guys. All Kentucky players do is
Good.
develop into amazing stars in the NBA. There's almost a question about when you go to the University of Kentucky, does John Calipari stunt your growth? Because you had guys like Devin Booker who fell in the draft. You have other players, De'Aaron Fox, who fell into draft, and you go, man, they didn't look like this at all at Kentucky. So shout out Cason Wallace. And then Derek Lively II, probably the best big man. We didn't talk about except for one center in our draft for the top 12. So that just shows you kind of where the NBA is going. A lot of wings, not many centers. But, I mean, Coach and I watch Duke basketball religiously. Derek Lively is that lob threat, that rim runner, that DeAndre Jordan type player who can come in and he will block shots and catch lobs and just dunk on everybody's head. It wouldn't shock me if OKC went there.
I like Lively anywhere between 14 and 17.
My dream pick would be for him to fall to Golden State. That'd be my dream pick. I don't know if he'll fall that far, but I would love for him Golden State.
He would look great in a Lakers uniform, playing the center position, allowing AD to move out and space the floor. I mean, to me, that would be amazing.
Yeah. There's a couple guys on there. I know we didn't talk about. We didn't pick Walker. We didn't pick quite a few guys. Shout out to a gentleman that I met at a basketball camp, Derek Whitehead, coming off 2 surgeries, 42.4% at the 3-point line for a 6'6" guy. He has all the upside in the world and 2 surgeries on his left foot. So there's a lot of downside with the upside. He could be potentially one of those guys that he was a top 5 draft pick. He was a top 5 draft pick before injuries. He can still be a top 5 draft pick. We'll see what happens. But guys, I appreciate you guys' effort in this mock draft we have. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know what you think on the comments. Like, subscribe, share, do everything you can. Let us know. Interact. We love to talk to you guys. Check us out on TikTok. We're always talking to the fans out there. We're always with the guys out there. Let us know what we got wrong, what we got right, what you would have done differently. From Coach Frank, from the Podfather himself, from the genius Teach McDraft himself over there in the corner. We're out. 3 for 3.